They said this woman has created legacy that she's actually living in real time. Not only is she a mother, but she's a mother to a scene. Also an executive, not just to her children, but to a scene. Managing one of the greatest talent we've ever experienced. Not just coming out of the continent, but just coming out this world. Please put your hands together for the phenomenal Madam Bose Ogulu. Please, let's go loud and show her some love.
Good evening, everyone. Happy independence to Nigeria. I'd like to thank the Best of Africa for having me here. They will say what award they are presenting me with when they're ready. But for now, I have been asked to give a keynote address. I don't know if it's an address, but the theme is legacy. And legacy is defined as a long-lasting impact of particular events or actions that you carry out today and influence future generations. The only way I know to speak is to talk about my journey. And I will share that with you. And you can take from it what you will and link it with the theme for tonight. I was born into a family that was mostly Pan-African. I could talk about apartheid and everything else before I was 10. It was like a daily conversation between my father and I. And my mom could speak 5 Nigerian languages. And I would see how everyone would gravitate towards her and feel like they were related to her. And so I enjoyed the fullness of communal spirit in Nigeria. And later I came to enjoy it in Africa by speaking a lot of languages as well. And so I watched my father work on radio, a true wordsmith. I watched him manage Fela Anikulapo Kuti. I watched him recruit Fela's first band. And I understood from the beginning that a creative needs structure and needs someone behind that they respect and that is responsible. I never once saw the band members go to Fela for their salaries. They went to my father. So these are memories of very early days. Fast forward, I was fortunate to go to Queen's College, Lagos. And then I got introduced to the fact that you could go on excursion trips, and my father would pay for anything if it was tied to school. And so I told myself, I want a holiday every year, so I'm just gonna make it about school. And then I realized I was really interested in languages. So I got to go all around West Africa, just learning languages and just being immersed in the culture. And before I knew it, I could speak some Wolof, some Ewe, some this, some that, the other. And I understood how rich our culture is. I understood we eat the same food. You know, we have the same practices and all that. And then I got to realize the lack of trust that existed between us and our neighbors, because we spoke French, they spoke English. And I thought, this is not right. we look exactly the same. These boundaries were put there by colonizers. These languages were inflicted upon us. Why should it divide us? And so I got, again, immersed in trying to break language barriers. And I spent most of my life doing that. I went to the African Development Bank in Abidjan, and I saw where interpreters stay. And I asked them, where are these people? They said, we can't afford to pay them. They're not here. I said, okay, where are the accountants? They showed me. Where is this? They showed me. And I thought to myself, I want to be that person they can't afford to pay. So I moved on to be trained as a translator and an interpreter. And I worked for many years as that. The Echo Bank is a product of one of the concerns that I took delegates around West Africa interpreting for. There was supposed to be an airline, maritime line, all sorts of things. Well, we succeeded with the bank. The rest of it, I don't know what happened. But the point is that I have always had it in my head that Africa is one entity, or at least should be, in spirit. And then I move on to the power of music. And at the time, because I moved around a lot, while Nigerians only knew about Sonny Ade and Obe and all that, I knew who Alpha Blondy was. I knew Miata Fambule from Liberia. Everyone knew Miriam Makeba. So I had that richness of cultures, music, language, and everything. And so I think I have been privileged to feel what it is to be an African, not just a Nigerian. And then it takes you further to what I did as an adult. I had a language school, I had a music school. My goal was to break language barriers. So I would take 50 children twice a year around West Africa, learning French, take them to Spain to learn Spanish, take them to Germany to learn German, because I just believed that if we broke that barrier, we could finally showcase what we had to the world. Fast forward to me becoming an artist manager, because I was asked by my son. And I took on the job, and I managed him somewhat remotely for the first few years, because I had other jobs to do, and I felt he was okay. I signed the deals, did all of that, but I realized that he didn't have structure. And so I thought to myself, this is great talent. Everything is right here, but there is no structure. So I set about setting structure, took on the role full-time, got a bunch of people to work with me. And the most poignant part for me is the touring, because I was dealing with an artist who was already big on the continent. And then we want to go to America, and they're telling you, oh, there are no footprints, there are no statistics. How do you know? I say he's performed at stadiums in Africa. They're like, you name the places, and they're like, there are no records, there are no statistics, there are no hard ticket sales. And then again, I realized we lack structure, because I couldn't provide what they were asking me to provide. And so we had to start from the beginning with an artist who was already a superstar. But because we had structure, we were able to convince him to do that with touring. And we went into small rooms because we refused to perform at event centers. Now I knew I needed venues with hard ticket sale evidence. And I needed to leave footprints for the artists. And so we went about doing that. Swimming against the odds. Taking $12 showers in truck stops. Because it had to be done right with a complete band. And of course, they weren't paying too much because if we wanted the bag, we would have gone to perform at the event centers. And so this is how the legacy for me of managing Burna Boy the artist has been built. Brick by brick, taking the stairs, putting on the top of your mind the fact that you need to be impactful, you need to make a difference, you need to be true to yourself, you need to not sell out. And so when they said, you can't do that, I said, why can't we do it? Well, the only other artist that tried to do it didn't even sell half. I said, watch me. And we did it by ourselves. And, you know, we're thankful we've gotten this far. But my point tonight is that nobody, except someone that has an agenda, opens the door for you when you are coming in. Sometimes they don't open it even when you knock softly. Sometimes you have to bang on the door and say, hey, I'm here. Sometimes you have to kick down the door. It's called breaking barriers. And so, coming from where we come from as Africans, we need to work twice as hard to conquer the world. And that has been my goal and the goal of Spaceship Collective, the entity that I co-founded. We have various artists and producers, and we're doing just that, building that bridge with structure. Product development, because nothing lasts if it is not developed. Africa is rich in mineral resources. We are rich in human resources. But we need to tell ourselves that shortcuts do not work. If they work, they do not last. We need to focus on legacy. We need to focus on building the quality of ourselves and our products. And when we do that with structure, we make an impact that can be written down as legacy. Today, nobody in America or the UK is going to tell another artist from Nigeria or Africa that they can't sell out anything because they have seen us do it. So already, that is legacy. One of the things I consider icing on the cake for me throughout my journey is the number of African giants that I have met along the way. Whether it is in sports, from Paul Pogba to Giannis Antetokounmpo, I mean, these young people just come out and they make you proud. Ham Serunjogi for tech, Shipakash, all of them, I'm amazed and I am truly humbled by the amount of talent that Africa is sending across the world. I don't think we realize the half of it. But because I have been opportuned to move around so much, and you get to little places, and you see this star who is from Nigeria, from Mali, from Cote d'Ivoire, wherever. And everybody in that place is singing his name. And it makes you proud to be African. And so, all of this, a lot of work has been done. I thank BOA for thinking that I'm worthy to speak to you and to get whatever award they are giving me tonight. But there is a lot of work still to do. But the important thing is, guess what? We are enough.
Yes, we are.
We are enough. Let us not be afraid to build brick by brick, because that is the only way it will stand. Let us avoid shortcuts. Let us embrace structure. and then we will have legacy. Thank you.